Welcome to Dark Knight Films Reviews and another horror movie night. Tonight, I will be reviewing Santo in the Treasure of Dracula, released in 1968, directed by Rene Cardona, from a script by Alfredo Salazar, starring Santo, Aldo Monti, Noelia Noel, Roberto G. Rivera, Carlos Agosti, Pili Gonzalez, and Gina Morett. Now, this is a El Santo film where he was a very popular wrestler in Mexico, right alongside wrestlers like Rey Mysterio and the Villanos and Mil Mascaras, and very famous, and they just had to throw him into movies and stuff because he was into that kind of thing, I guess. But he usually would fight supernatural creatures, monsters, and everything. And in this one, of course, he is facing Dracula, as played excellently by Aldo Monti. And this film, it actually has a vibe of a real Universal Monsters film, because for whatever reason they released it in black and white in the US, so it has that Universal feel to it throughout it, even with the way that the performances and the way it's shot. Noelia Noel as the girlfriend to Santo, Luisa, is very beautiful. I've seen her in other films, in Mexican film, and she is always strong and does a great job with her performances. But there's not much else to say as far as the rest of the performances in this one. But the story is kind of weird because they send Luisa back in time through this time machine. And the first thing that happens when she gets there, she falls under the control of Aldo Monti's Dracula. You'd think this hero that they're sending back, would not fall under the villain's control like this, but she does. Now, I said that this was black and white in the US version, but there was, like many of these films during this time period, there was a European version of this made under the title Vampire and Sex. And it is in color, ironically, and because it's in color and the way that this thing was shot, with the mood and the atmosphere, with that additional nudity that they put into it. And ironically, it's odd seeing a film like this with the, because usually, with these European versions of the films, you'd get nudity from little extra characters and stuff that weren't main characters. But in this one, you actually have some nudity with Noelia Noel, which really surprised me in that cut of the film. And then, of course, you have Gina Morett's character of Barbara, the maid character. She ends up getting hypnotized by Dracula at one point, and there's two different versions. There's the black and white version where it's clean and she is fully dressed in her maid outfit in there, and then you have the European version where she's topless in the shot. And it's odd to get to see characters that are actual main characters in the story. Even with the Barbara characters, that was an oddity to see that, because normally, like I said, you had films like Devil Doll that did a European version, but you didn't get Yvonne Romaine topless in that, because she was the lead actress in that film. But yeah, it was something really different to have your they got this nudity added into it for the European markets, but your actual lead actress actually does nudity in it, as well as the character Barbara the maid, you know. And it's very well executed in the European version, though, because it makes the film, because it's in color, it makes it have that feel of a Hammer film instead of the Universal feel, because a lot of Hammer films did have more sex and more nudity. Not as much as this one. This one does have quite a bit more nudity than a lot of these other European films. So I guess it would depend on which one you wanted to search out and find to watch of this film. Whether you wanted an English translated version, which is dubbed in English, or the black and white version in the US, or if you don't mind reading subtitles, you can watch the color version, which is more in the line of a Hammer film. And, you know, I love both versions of this film, and I think they both have something really good that they bring to the table. And unlike a future film, I think it's pretty well executed as far as the Dracula character goes in this. So, my final review for Santo in the Treasure of Dracula, which basically I'm kind of reviewing two versions of this film in this review. I'm going to give this film a 8.9 out of 10. I think it's an excellent film. It is very well executed. But what do you guys think of this film? Do you agree with my review? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments down below. And as usual, if you enjoyed this video, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to click that bell icon so you can be notified about future videos just like this one. And while you're by the subscribe button, click that join button and become a Dark Knight fan. As a Dark Knight Fan Plus member, you have access to an area on the channel right now where you can request a movie, TV series, or ranking video of your choosing. And when that video goes up, it will go up for all Plus members prior to it going up for all other subscribers. So if you want to get interactive and help me to get more movies on here that I might not normally review, become a Plus member. Well, that's it for another horror movie night. If you missed last week's horror movie night video, you can check it out in the link above. Or if you have missed any of our videos on horror movie night, check out this playlist and you can check out anything that you've missed.